All right. So, hello everybody. Welcome back. As I was telling y'all earlier, I was making sure that I could get it situated because I had people saying that they was coming in and wanted to ask some questions. So, again, the door is now open for you to be able to ask all the questions that you would like. I want you um to be, you don't have to be like super transparent, but don't mind being transparent because I'm gonna be transparent today. And so we're gonna talk about again relationships with money, coming from the spiritual side of things and the natural side of things. We're gonna talk about your personal finances, business finances, all that good stuff. Right. So we're gonna pack this into a 1 hour session. So and if y'all can see, I got my sister LXG up here joining me, so I appreciate her.
Awesome.
One of the biggest things that I want you guys to take away about this particular topic is how you handle your money. That's pretty much what we're going to talk about. In life, most of the time, if you're having issues in your personal finances, your business finances won't be right either. Because if you don't know how to handle your personal finances, you'll jack up your business finances too. So, one thing that we're going to talk about is the separation of the two. Your business income and your personal income should not be together, it should be separated. It should not be the same bank account. I don't even have my business bank account at the same bank as my personal bank account. So that's something that I'm going to go into as well. But we're just going to come from a lot of different avenues. Of course, if my sister got something that she want to say and chime in, she know that she's free. But I want you guys to be able to ask questions, right? So, um, again, I'm gonna start off talking about what I was talking about a little while ago. Is
Okay.
coming from the spiritual side of things. You
Mhm.
know, the Bible tells us to tithe. You know, tithing not only does something for you, but you're able to help other people when you tithe.
Mhm.
A lot of people choose not to tithe, and I was one of those people. I ain't gonna lie. I chose not to tithe because I didn't like at that time when I
Mhm.
was under certain ministries,
Mhm.
they didn't run things correctly. So
Okay.
I knew that my money wasn't going to go to where it was should go.
Mhm.
And so I
Okay.
chose not to tithe. And I
Okay.
did that for a very long time.
Okay.
So that just really just changed here in the recent years,
Mhm.
right? So I
Mhm.
can be super transparent about
Right.
um, so and I don't knock nobody if they say that they don't do it because I get it. I was there. So
Right.
I understand. I ain't knocking you.
Mhm.
I'm just telling you that if you choose to be a tithe payer, it's not on you what the people choose to do with the funds you give because
Mhm.
you do what you're supposed to do between you and God.
Right.
Right. So I had to learn and understand that, hey, um, what you choose to do with it after I hand it over ain't
Mhm.
my problem. I
Right.
did what I was supposed to do. I gave my 10%
Mhm.
and I'm good.
Mhm.
So I also am one of those people that I do not give everywhere I go.
Okay.
And that is for multiple reasons. I'm gonna say that the reason why it's like that is because everybody ground ain't fruitful.
That's true.
I'm not gonna sow into something that's withered up and there ain't no fruit coming from it. I ain't seen no fruit fall from it.
Mhm.
And yeah, I'm not gonna sow where you have been trying to have a business fund for 20 years and ain't nothing happened.
There it is.
Uh, I can't do that. So you're not saying that I wouldn't sow and I wouldn't give, but I'm not if I ain't seen no changes made and you still collecting the building fund after 20 years, something ain't right.
Right.
I'm just gonna be honest. So
Absolutely.
I choose not to sow sometimes in some those type of places.
Mhm.
Um and if there's something that God got to deal with me about, He gonna have to deal with me about it.
Yeah.
So
So, and that even applies to whether you're sowing into a ministry or a person. You
yeah,
should be consulting the Holy Spirit, or there should be some level of discernment where you feel like just because I come to your church or I come to your function or I am affiliated with you, I'm not obligated to sow into what you're doing unless there is a spiritual connection where I feel what you're doing aligns with what I believe, what the word, not even just what I believe, but what the word of God says, and I believe the word of God. So we should be careful. It's just like getting a job. I can't
Right.
work everywhere. You can't go and apply and be a part of any company, not knowing what their core values are, what they stand for. You don't know what these people are doing, and you're aligning up with them. So I think that's important. When it comes to what you said about tithing, I think where we lose it and where I've seen problems arise in my childhood, if I may be so transparent, it's
Hmm.
one thing to be a tither, but it's another thing to act as though the money is there and it's not.
Right. Right.
I saw people get into the line to give tithes and or offerings, write the check, knowing there is nothing there, but believe God to miraculously, hocus pocusly, put something in there. And
Right.
then now you're on the list in the church office as having written bad checks, but you
Right.
were in the line flexing
Right.
with your so-called $200 seed, but you knew you didn't have that money in the bank. So now you become a liar.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you don't have it, then you don't have it. But tithing is okay. If I know I make a certain amount of money, 10% of whatever I'm bringing home, or really, people say you should do the gross,
Right.
10% on the gross. People could do it how they want, but people do the gross. You should know with the calculation what that looks like every time you get a paycheck.
Right.
So if you're gonna be a avid tither, just like you pay your phone bill, your light bill, your gas bill, if that's what you're gonna do, you budget that out.
Right.
Now, if you're going into the point where you're trying to just flex because the pastor said, I want, my big timers to come down here with a $500 seed, and you don't have that, and you
Right.
wonder why you're getting insufficient funds.
Right.
Come on now, we ain't at the gate. Think
Right.
logically, think logically. You don't have that, and that's okay. So when it comes to the church, don't make people feel bad. The sacrifice is what God is looking at. They
Yeah.
go by amount. Don't come telling me this is the official offering. What? So mine is unofficial?
Right.
I can't afford to give $1,000. I'm a officially go back to my car. I'm officially going down the street with my money, because now you're making it seem like the amount is what God is looking at, and that's not biblical. If I got 10 million and I drop 100 in your bucket, I ain't did nothing.
Right.
But if I got 100 and I gave you 90, come on.
Right. Right.
But we make tithing and offering spooky.
Yes, we do, and that's so sad.
Oh, we
It's,
put that Gargamel spirit on everything.
it's so sad. Like when I tell you it's super sad, it's sad. I have been at a church service with quote unquote wonderful gospel celebrities. These particular gospel celebrities made me begin to see them in a different light after the offering was called.
Mm.
Because one of the singers got up, she was the guest speaker that night, and she said, "Don't come up here with no dollar,
Oh,
because God ain't taking that."
see, wrong.
And she didn't realize that one of the ladies, that's all she had. Why was that all she had?
Wow.
2 weeks before this particular event, her house had caught on fire and she lost everything she had. So she came up with the last dollar she had in her pocket to
Jesus,
give. And when that lady said what she said, it
Jesus,
made her just want to stop dealing with church. I stopped
yeah,
everything I was doing and I caught her before she walked out of the building. And I
Jesus.
stopped her and I said, "Go give what you got. Don't worry about what she said. This is between you and God. But when you get ready to put that dollar in that bucket, you
Come on,
tell God what you needed to do."
come on.
And so it wasn't my ministry at the time, not the ministry I was under, but the bishop that whose church that it was at, he thanked me for stopping her before she could walk out of the building. And I was just, it ain't no thanks needed. I just wish that, if it would have been me doing it, somebody would have stopped me too.
Yes,
So that I would know it ain't about what this chick just said. You know
right.
what I'm saying? So um I went She went and she put it in the bucket. And when she got ready to place it in the bucket, you could see her stop and just pause like she was praying over it.
Jesus.
And after everything was over, she stopped me after the service and she said, she was just like, I just want to thank you. She said, because when I went to go give that dollar, I
Mm,
told God that I needed him to multiply it,
my God.
put me back in another home and restore me with what I lost.
My God.
And I said, well, I trust and believe that God gonna do it for you. My faith gonna link up to your faith, and I'm gonna help you. We gonna pray this thing through.
Come on.
Um, and about not even 3 weeks after that, she literally got a phone call saying that she got approved to get a new house.
Jesus.
Um, she was able to people sold so much into her
Jesus.
the very next Sunday
Come
that she
on.
was able to go back and get clothes, able
Jesus.
to go refurnish her house. A manager that worked at the furniture place was
Mm,
at the church service she was at. He supplied her with the furniture for her house.
thank you,
I
God.
mean,
Come on.
everything
Come
that
on,
she needed,
$1.
right?
Come
Everything
on.
she needed, God did.
Come
Why?
on.
Because I told her, don't you worry about what that woman said.
Don't you work? Listen,
Go up there, and you get what you got
according to your faith.
according to your faith. And I said, don't worry about what this lady says.
Ooh,
She
Jesus.
don't know your situation, but you do. And so it took me back to the parable in the Bible where the woman had that one thing of oil left.
Come
She
on,
said,
one
she
thing.
said, she said, I'm gonna cook this here cake and I'm
Yes.
gonna use this last bit of oil, and then we're gonna die. That's what she said in the Bible. And the prophet came and told her, no, I need you to go get ramekins, and I
Come
need you
on.
to keep pouring, and I need you to pour until you can't pour no more.
Come
I
on.
just need you to follow the instructions that the
Follow
Lord
the
is giving.
instructions.
Follow the instructions that the Lord is giving. My apostle always say there's anointing on the instructions,
Come
honey,
on,
and it is anointing in those instructions. And
Jesus.
so, when the woman in the Bible kept pouring, she it wasn't enough
We have
vessels to hold it.
right. We have enough
Right,
vessels.
she didn't have enough vessels to hold
That's
it,
called
so he gave
overflow.
right, so he gave her an abundance and an
Come
overflow.
on.
It makes me sit back and think about. I want to say it's Proverbs 3:9 maybe, where he talks about the overflow as well. Malachi 3, where it talks about tithing, it talks about when you tithe, if you give and you give it the way you're supposed to give, that he'll make sure that you got so much that you don't
Woo,
have enough room to receive it. That's what he say. And so
woo.
when you give the way you're supposed to give and you do what you're supposed to do concerning your funds, you
Yes.
have an overflow. You're
Yeah.
supposed to be blessed to be a blessing.
That's right.
But
That's the
so
whole
many,
purpose.
right. And so, but so many people got their hand closed up,
Yeah.
come down to funds
Yeah.
that, you know, nothing is happening for you.
And some of that
And
is fear. I
yeah,
think some people have seen a lot of poverty in
yeah,
their lineage, and people are just afraid. And then here comes COVID, here comes companies shutting down, here
yeah,
comes people losing jobs, losing homes, losing,
yeah,
and people's faith has been shaken. But the thing of it is, when we really have that unshakable faith, you have to still be able to stand up even when you're in that pit
right,
and you're going through that valley experience. Like, I have to trust your word.
right,
You didn't say it was going to always be perfect or great. You said that there would be trouble,
right,
but I want to be so spiritually mature to where every sign of trouble don't have me on the floor.
right,
And that takes spiritual maturity, and that takes surrounding yourself with the right people. It takes studying the word. It takes unplugging. If
right,
you have to unplug from
right,
certain things and certain people will drag you into that impoverished mindset. You can be
right,
the just prayed, just come out of a Pentecostal frenzy, and you get that one person calling you with that, ah! Like, wait a minute, wait, what's going on? And then drag you back into it. You got to protect yourself in terms of when you're building up your faith.
yep, you
We
do,
all have been through a lot. I mean, I can't tell you in the last 2 years what a shakeup I've experienced, and then the enemy will very subtly sneak in like, you was on cloud nine just 2 years ago. You was doing
right,
pretty good, but actually I wasn't. I might have been getting a good paycheck, but I was suffering in my mind. I was suffering in my body at that job. All money ain't good money.
that's it. That's it. And a lot of times, even when it comes down to job, did God put you on it?
Come on.
If He put you on it,
Come
did
on.
He tell you it was time for you to go and you chose to stay longer than you were supposed to?
And he'll show you when it's time for you to go. He'll start
Right.
nudging you, and you're like, well, no, Lord, the money is good. And
Yeah, because everything has its timing and everything has its
yes,
season. Everything has its time and season in place, right? And
yes,
so a lot of times we don't realize that even in the good times, you still got to prepare for what's coming because all times ain't going to be good.
preparation is so
And
key.
right, very key. And that's especially when it comes down to funds.
Yes.
If you don't have a savings and emergency fund, what you going to do if something hits your house?
And people don't think nothing gonna hit their house. Let me tell you, you don't anticipate it wouldn't. I would not have ever thought in a million years that sickness would have hit me the way it did. I'm strong, resilient, but over time I felt like this is not going the right way. I'm not getting stronger in my mind, my body. I'm not the same, happy go lucky, jovial. Even my coworkers and peers were like, Tanya, what's going on? I'm like, it's this place. It's this place. So even when you're in a good season, prepare, save. And I thought that whole thing about having 6 months of your bill expense money put up, it sounded really good, but I didn't think I could afford to save. Now I look back like if I had just saved. You
Right,
have to do it to anticipate the unexpected. It's You're not saying I'm gonna get sick, but you're saying just in case something happens, it could be a car breaking down.
right,
You never know what life. Who would have thought a whole pandemic would have rushed through the whole world?
right,
Who would have thought some public
right,
schools been thriving for? We had a furniture store in the Detroit area that had been around 50, 60 something years. COVID came through and it's not there anymore.
right,
I mean, strong, viable corporations may not have made it. People wasn't buying furniture. People was barely holding on to a house. That's no trying to buy furniture.
right,
The housing market is different. Even to rent a home, they want you to have a 750 credit score. Baby, if I had that, I'll buy me a house.
right,
So you have to prepare, and that's biblical.
right.
Preparation is
You're supposed
biblical.
to prepare.
And it may
Even,
be sacrificing some stuff that you kind of really want to do,
mhm.
but you want to first make sure you set and have your emergency fund. I didn't look at it like that, if I may be so transparent. I wanted a vacation, so I gave myself one. I didn't go to no tropical place, and it wasn't no thousands of dollars. But looking back over the last few years, if I had just said, well, maybe if I save this instead of doing this, or not do that instead of doing that, but God is still providing.
Yeah,
And
and
even though
he
you
is.
have a tumultuous time, you can look back and say you shoulda, coulda, woulda, but the best thing to do is to look forward.
Right.
I didn't make the best decisions then, but I'm still here. And God has given me a chance to make those decisions now. That's why I'm glad you're talking about money. We get so tight-lipped
Right.
when it comes to money. We get real embarrassed when it comes to that. We want to appear. I grew up in a home where it was all about appearances.
Right.
Look like we dressing so good, we driving so good, our house. People didn't know we were losing everything. Hot water, cars getting repossessed, stuff getting turned off. Our furniture was rented. People didn't know that. I did.
Right.
But everybody on the outside looking at our family, oh, they are super successful. Even on social media, you see
Right.
stuff, you don't know if that's their stuff or not.
Right. And half of us not. A lot of people rent it to put up the appearance and them
Yes,
people and they take it right back where they got it from,
yes,
including some of the clothes they wear.
yes.
Even celebrities now will tell you that they don't own the jewels that's around their neck. They rent them
See,
for
see,
the occasion and give the jewels back.
yep,
So a lot of people, and I was very transparent earlier, where I could be honest to say, in the last couple years or so, I've had a lot of money come through my hands,
okay,
right? But I lived the way I wanted to.
okay,
I lived the way I wanted to. If I wanted to go and travel for 2 weeks straight, I did it.
okay.
You know, and I mean, At the time, I wasn't married then. I ain't got no babies, so
Right.
I'm single. You know,
Right.
so what
Right.
what is there? What is there to hold me back from doing what I want to do? Not
Right.
saying that now that I'm married and I and I got a baby that it holds me back because it don't. When I
Hmm.
still want to go, the hubby say let's go. You know,
Right.
but the whole thing of it is back then, when I wanted to go, I went, and
Right.
I didn't care about the cost. I didn't
Okay.
care about the price. Why? Because I had it that way.
Okay.
And so now it's just like, when you can say that you are a person that used to have, I mean, any amount I wanted, I had access to it.
Okay.
When you go from that at that time, I
Hmm.
can be honest to say I did not use wisdom with it though.
Okay. Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
I
And
do.
so as I matured and
Yeah.
grew, I
Yeah.
asked God to give me wisdom concerning my finances.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that began to mature and
Yeah.
grow. And
Yes.
so I also became a financial advisor throughout the years. So it made me really look at money different.
Right. Right.
And so, my priorities became priorities and my desires became second or third
Okay.
to my
Okay.
priorities. My priorities became first. If my
Okay.
bills and stuff were not covered and paid, baby, we ain't getting on the road.
Ooh
We
wee.
ain't
Come
going
on.
well. I'm not
Come
going to take from the rent
come
to
on.
go to somebody else's event
Come on now.
just so I can show up and show my face.
Come on.
I'm not doing that. I love you and I will support you from afar, but if I
Okay.
can't, I just can't.
Right.
Right. And so that's now my whole outtake and outlook on money is totally different,
Yeah.
especially from my personal to my business.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? And so a lot of people don't understand that. Yes, I'll give you the shirt off my back if that's
Right.
what I have to do. I'm gonna just tell you to give me a moment because I need to go grab another shirt. You know what I'm saying? But
Yes.
I
Yeah.
would give you the shirt off my back. But
Right.
even with that, if you don't have it to give, don't lie.
Right.
Don't
Right.
put yourself in the bind to try
Right.
to pull somebody else out of a bind.
Right. Let's
And
go back to what you said about how you handled money before, because I
yeah,
had this conversation um with someone when you were single, and in this case it was a male who I had
hmm
this conversation with,
hmm
and we were talking about dating,
hmm
and my questions, I ask questions, let me just say that,
hmm
because when I am dating someone with the purpose of marriage, I want to know, how do you handle money? You're single, you're working, a pretty good job, you live somewhere that's already paid for, it belongs to your family.
hmm
So okay, you got a cell phone bill, okay, you don't have a house note, don't
hmm
have lights, gas. Okay. So I'm looking like, well, where does your money go?
right,
And at first, that particular person didn't really want to go there, but eventually he came out and said, I spend it how I want to.
right.
And I said, and that's real talk. But do you see how when you get ready to marry someone and they're looking at, well, what are your financial habits? That can be a little bit of a drawback. Not that I was perfect with money, but being a mother, a single mother at that, there were certain things that I had to do.
Right.
Everything came from me. I did
Right.
not live with my parents at the time. I had my own apartment, paid all my own bills, had a vehicle, car insurance, you know, all had to be for me. My daughter's needs, she did get some income because her dad was deceased, but the rest of that came from me. But there were times when finances can be a very sensitive discussion, even when you're dating and premarital discussions,
Right.
because everybody has their own way of handling their affairs, and to them it works.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering, during that dating and data collecting stage, if you really are trying to date and you feel like you're compatible, you may want to have some real transparent discussions about how you function financially. If you know you're making so much coming from your check, and you're tiring, okay, let's talk about it. Well, honey, I ended up paying my this, my this, my this. I was able to save this. And even going into marriage, I told my spouse, we're not breaking the bank over a wedding. Matter of fact, don't even ask me to marry you until you get a car.
Right.
I'm being honest. When his car broke down, I asked him not to even propose to me until he used his own funds to get a replacement vehicle. And my mama said, "Well, you can't tell no man if he love you, he go." And she was right. He didn't listen to me, but I'm like, dude, I'm practical.
Right.
I need to see that you are gonna prioritize.
Right.
It's nice to have money in your pocket, Lord knows. But what I started doing in my younger years is I write down before that money even hit my account. Because I got caught up in petty loans and I've lost cars, I've lost apartments. So I didn't want to go through that no more. So before my money even hit, I had a list, a budget of what I knew I had to pay with that particular check.
Right.
Like don't get too crazy, LHG. What was the LH then? Because this money is allocated, is rent check, is car note check, is car insurance check. Now, mind you, if there is something left and I want to do some recreation, because you mentioned something very important, you should be able to reward yourself when you work hard.
Right.
You'll be able to enjoy, but you got to be strategic in what you spend and where you go, knowing your limitations.
Right.
You only making $12 an hour, working 40 hours a week. Chances are you may not be able to go to Dubai. Right now.
And more than likely, you're not.
You might be able to go, downtown. You may be able to go a couple states away. And I'm not, trying to shade any hourly workers. But if you got bills, let's know, children, spouse, all these commitments, that $12 an hour times 40 is only going to go so far.
Right.
So you have to do something different. Nowadays, our hourly wage isn't even enough to cover all of our expenses. We all got to have a business. We all got to have multiple income streams.
And that's how it's supposed to be.
We have to do that. This society now, people's 9 to 5, they're cutting hours without much advance notice. One day you're doing 40 a week, then you're doing 25 a week, then you're doing 10 a week. You can't tell your landlord, well, cut my rent down 20%.
Right.
You're like, what? That'll be a no.
And on top of that, they might tell you to get out. Because you pretty much just let them know that you can't afford to stay there no more.
So since you tell you can't afford to stay,
right?
And he's gonna go 7-day notice,
right?
It costs to evict people, so you have to be able to budget. I had a conversation when you brought up different things that people want to do and how much it costs. You can have all the good intentions. I'm talking to couples now. Mm-hmm. One spouse could say, I want to surprise my spouse with tickets to see Patti LaBelle. She loved Patti. I know she would enjoy this. We've been going through a lot. This would be good for us to get out and do this. You present that to your spouse. The spouse, if they me, honey, thank you. However, you see this little these bills right here. I don't think Patti or the LaBelles are gonna put any money
on this bill.
These bills. Now, I love you for thinking about me, but I wouldn't be able to enjoy any of her singing, shoe throwing, or wing flying if I know I don't do this rent, I'm gonna get put out. My light's gonna be turned off. I can't feed my family. So instead of saying, "Dang it, I'm trying to show you, that I want to take you out," and thank you for the thought, but as a team, we have to prioritize. Even if you take me down to the water and get me a cup of Kool-Aid and 2 chicken wings sunny side up, long as I'm with you, bro,
right,
I'm good. And when I go home, I know our bills are good. I know our kids are good. That's what brings me peace. If you got somebody in your life that's pulling on your money for stuff that you can't afford, that probably is not the right person.
Yep.
Adulting means making the decisions where what is the most important thing that has to be done? Your shelter,
right?
Your transportation,
right?
Your food, your utilities. And when I say utilities, I don't mean Netflix.
Right.
I don't mean stars. That's extra. But your lights, your gas, you got to have a phone.
Right. Right.
So you have to put those things in order and look at the dates that the bills are due, y'all.
Yep.
You can't haphazardly pay because you're going to be going into past due statuses, late fees because you are mismanaging. I'm not perfect. Trust me, my condition is not the best today on April the 8th. However, what I have learned in going through what I'm going through and becoming a low income citizen, I've learned that you have to pay attention to everything you spend, even down to stopping at McDonald's and getting the McChicken. The dollar menu is not $1 anymore.
Right.
That's even costing more.
Right.
Everything is costing more. A pack of chicken wings
Yep.
should never be $9.85. A pack of turkey tails should never be $8.
Right.
The devil is a liar. But you have to adjust your spending, pray over your money. That's one thing. If I really couldn't say this to couples, if you're not in a place, in a spiritual place of fellowship with your mate, and y'all on two different pages when it comes to prayer and how you petition God and how you look at your worship and your study time, I don't know what you're basing it on.
Yeah.
Because if you on two different pages in the same house, a house divided will not stand. And you can find out your compatibility in that area during the dating process. How do you handle this? How do you handle that? Where your bills at? Where your bills at? You can get part. If I'm gonna marry you,
Right.
there's no question off limits, boo boo.
Right.
Credit score, whatever, FICO, Experian,
Right.
Equifax, TransUnion. We trying to build a life, and don't settle. If you got something in your spirit that says, I don't think they quite getting it yet, then don't go down that aisle.
Right.
Please let me tell you, it won't work itself out. No. You got to be willing to wait on God. And the single people, get your personal finances in a good place to where you're preparing for a mate.
Right.
Bills paid. You have auto insurance.
Right.
Your registrations are paid. All of your, the little nuances of life that we can't stand but gotta have, all those are on the up and up.
Right. And not just auto insurance.
Yeah, life.
Y'all better get life insurance.
Life, honey. Life.
Life insurance. It's important. I mean, you better insure your whole house.
Yes.
I don't care. I mean, you got to weigh the option of how you will still blow that amount of money that you would spend on insurance every month on other stuff. But you make that a priority because you never know what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen.
Don't know.
And there are different types of insurances you can get. I tell everybody, get you some life insurance, get you some nice little barrel arrangements, make you how you want to do it, but also get a secondary policy that helps with emergencies, health emergencies. Aflac is wonderful. Aflac pay you just to go to the emergency room. Okay. So, get Aflac. If you get admitted, you get $200-$300 a day for the whole time you admitted. All you got to do is submit the paperwork showing that you was admitted into the hospital. When you go to the ER, they pay you $175 a visit. Okay.
Glad you see, I got Aflac and I've been to the ER. I'm writing this down.
You know what I'm saying? All you got to do is submit the paperwork and they cut you a check.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, you have a secondary policy, but they helping you help you.
Okay.
Because especially if everything that you do evolves around you, when you go down, then what?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's like one of those situations where you got to help yourself. All right.
Help yourself. Yeah.
Right. You got to help yourself. So that's what you have to go with.
And for those who are getting tax returns,
yeah,
and you're blowing tens of thousands
of dollars
on big screens and
buying new cars when you don't need them.
Come on, you could catch up on bills, pay off debt, put away some savings, get your life insurance policies up to date.
Right.
Our priorities are so off when it comes to having a large sum of money.
Yeah, you can look, bro. If you ain't busy, go ahead and pop up in here. We in the StreamYard. Come on up in here. So
indemnity. I think that is a part of what Aflac
Yeah,
does.
that's what they do.
Being admitted, I didn't even know it was when you have to visit.
Yeah, they pay you just for
Well,
emergency
good to
visits
know.
too.
See,
Every time that I've been to the ER, every time that I've been admitted, and for
Mhm.
those that have followed my health journey, y'all
That's a
know
lot.
I've been admitted multiple times.
You've been admitted
And
multiple
so at the end of the day, Aflac is wonderful. I would recommend anybody to go get it.
times.
That little $40 a month has helped my whole
Right.
entire life.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
I spent $40. I spent $40 on stupid stuff. So
Wow.
you think that I won't have that and spend $40 on it? Sure.
Right.
You can take it out where I don't even see you take it out.
Right. Right. And
You
be
know?
the person to change generationally how your family looks at money.
Yes.
Be the one that says, you know what, I know we've over the generations done it this way and we haven't had much, or we lost this and lost that, and we've been a generation of just renters. But someone needs to be the person to say, you know what, I want to be the one to be the first homeowner, the first person that goes to college, the first person that changes the trajectory, of our lineage, and whatever it takes to do that. Let the family rally around that person,
Mm-hmm.
because that, just to have something in the family, I'm going to always be a big pusher of having a family home. I want to be able to have the family house, nice size home, that if when Gabby needs it, here we are. If I get too old and don't want to keep it up and I go live in a condo somewhere, that's fine. She will have a family home for her and her family. Even if we use it for rental property, it'll be, family income, whatever. Families now really have to band together to try to create legacy, whether it's a business of like an actual business itself, or it's the business of real estate, being a landlord, flipping houses.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it's time for people to really band together. It's tough for everybody. And when you see these cases where a person doesn't have life insurance, I'm coming out of corporate. I will have to say, I was satisfied having whatever my company gave me. I
Right.
knew I had a couple 100,000 if something was to happen to me, but
Right.
not realizing one day I wouldn't have that corporate job, and Medicaid only going to do so much.
Right.
So you have to have additional policies, and it's difficult to do when you don't have a lot of money to work with, but you got to shop around, because the last thing you want is to have your family have to do a GoFundMe, fish fry, rib tip dinners to at least bury you. That's a lot of extra. You already gone. Now they got to figure out how to put you in the ground.
Right. And it's sad when your family's got to do GoFundMe and fish fries.
Yeah. Just to get a basic funeral service for you.
Right.
That is I mean, but we see it a lot though. We see that so much. Matter of fact, when I began my job at an insurance company 22 years ago, during the orientation, we talked about that. Why is it important to have insurance? Because if you don't, your community ends up having to bury you.
Yes.
They got to get out here and beg and plead.
Right.
And they say, but when I saw her, she always kept the nicest clothes. She always drove the nicest car. She was always getting a new big screen in a lady's iPhone every year. You tell me that girl didn't have no insurance, or she had it and let it lapse?
Mm-hmm. And that's what a lot of them do.
And I'm not perfect. Trust me. I've had to make tough choices too, but I've also learned some things I would rather just forfeit to have the assurance
Yes. Yes.
that I'm insured.
And
Insurance
on top
is assurance.
and on top of that, being that you used to be a former insurance agent,
Yes.
I
Yeah.
was never a actual insurance agent, but I
Mhm.
have a lot of knowledge about
Mhm.
certain types of insurance.
Mhm.
So what I have always explained to people, being like I said, that I am a certified professional advisor,
Mhm.
that um there are certain types of insurances that if you get those types of insurances, they can be very lucrative to you. So
Mhm.
it's not just the fact of you got it as a life insurance policy for yourself, but if you needed to borrow from it, you could.
Okay.
And there's a way to do that, but it's only certain types of life insurance that you can do that with. That is not available with all life insurance policies.
What do you call the kind that you can borrow from?
term policies.
Term
If
life.
you can, yeah, you could borrow from those.
Is it
And the good thing about the term policies is if you get a term policy and you never come to your term, as they say,
mm-hmm.
that money is actually supposed to come back to you.
Okay.
And so a lot of people don't understand that either,
Okay.
right? Um, and so it's a lot of people that you have to understand and know your stuff.
Right. Different kinds of
Know
life insurance
Right, the
policy.
different types of life insurance policies.
Yeah.
I've worked under other companies that do only certain types of policies.
Mm-hmm.
Um, why? Because everybody cannot qualify for life insurance. If you are a person with existing health conditions, a lot of companies won't even give you a
I've
policy.
experienced that.
And so me myself personally, I had to switch companies because my original company I was with,
Mm.
because of some of my surgeries, said we can't cover you no more. And
Wow.
so when it's like that, I done put all this money into you. So now what are you telling me? Oh,
That's
well,
crazy.
we're gonna cut you a check, but we can't cover you no more.
Wow.
So for them to tell you that, where it make you feel like, well, you make me feel like I was on the job and this is my severance pay.
Pretty much.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's a lot of that. At the end of the day, you have to make that a priority, especially somebody like myself. I know I got health issues,
Me too.
right? You
Mhm.
you don't you don't want to leave that on your family.
Right.
You want them
Right.
to be all right,
Right.
right? And so, what I chose to do is, I have I'm, the person that handles most of the people's um funeral stuff here. I'm very close to that family.
Okay.
And so I went to them and I said, listen, I don't want to be put in no coffin. I just want to be
Yep.
cremated,
I did.
all of that. Let me get a cremation policy. Let me pay on it so I can have it paid off. So that way, with my life insurance, when it hit, my family get that whole check.
I'm glad you
That's
mentioned.
what I'm saying. So you ain't got to put me in no car. I don't. Maybe if I go through all that, you're gonna have a viewing. They can see at the viewing. After that, if you did not show up, that is on you, because after that, we shall be cremated,
We shall be.
and we're done. Okay.
We shall
Um, and so my thing is, everybody saying, well, why you want to do that? Why you want to do that? It's my choice. And I'm choosing to do that. Why? Because cremation is the cheapest. I want my family to have the money, not no funeral home.
right. These funerals are costing upwards
Yeah.
of $15,000 to $30,000 for your basic burials.
And you trying to do all of this lavish, sending people away. I wish you would try to have some horses walk me around the town. You know,
Horses, doves, and monkeys.
nothing against the folks that do that. So please, anybody watching it, you've done it. Nothing against you,
That's
but
all right.
I don't want all of that. I
Mm-mm.
don't want all of that. We ain't gonna do all that.
Mm-mm.
If you know me and you've been around me, baby,
You,
create
you
the
wouldn't
you
want
better
that.
create the memories that way, because that ain't gonna be the last memory you gonna have.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Okay, so that's just my thing. And
Mm-mm.
so a lot of people just be like, um, uh, well, I want them to go away nice. It ain't like they can see it.
They can't see not one dove, not one horse wagging his
We,
tail.
we got we got these specialty airbrushed coffins with pit. I can't see it.
It's for the living.
Yeah, I
It's a
can't see
show.
it.
It's a
I'm not.
show
I
for the
don't want you to
living.
do. I don't want you to do all that.
Ooh,
If you're gonna do something to commemorate, you can make something nice for yourself that you can
yeah,
actually keep. But why would you make something like that that's gonna go down 8 feet
in
under
the
the ground
ground.
and ain't nobody gonna see it? I don't want you to do all that.
Mm-mm.
I don't want you to do all that. And that's just my personal opinion. Okay.
Right,
And some people may disagree. That is your opinion, but this is mine. I
right.
want my family to be able to have a check, not the funeral
Yes,
home. You
yes.
catch me? So, and Fred said, I think some of us, our obsession with making money leads to our managing it. And you're right. The whole thing of it is just like I said earlier, money can be an evil thing, but money is a great tool if you know how to use it.
Yes, right.
If you take your money and do other things with it to multiply,
Mm-hmm.
to have more money, then
Mm-hmm.
you always got something that you can use to give and help elsewhere.
And
But
have discipline. It takes discipline too.
right,
No,
it takes a lot of discipline.
you want to just, and I know people, and I've been there where it's there, and sometimes even when you get a large sum for whatever reason, instead of budgeting it out, you find everything at Target that you think you need because you got the money. You
Right,
find everything at Walmart that you think you need because you got the money. Next thing you know, it's dwindling down, dwindling down. It takes discipline to say, if I'm only taking money out and it's not coming back, I'm going to be at zero pretty quickly.
right,
So the discipline is like, slow down for a second. I know that I have desires, but let me write down what I need.
right,
I need to have a place to live. I need to have a car. Gas is high here.
right,
Food is high everywhere. So if you can manage to handle all of your needs and some of your wants and have a savings, then that's wonderful.
right,
And that takes discipline and planning to get to that point as well. There
right.
are different one of our paparazzi sisters sent us a savings plan. If you save $10 a day, you'll have blank by the end of the year. If you
Yeah,
save 20, these things work, but you got to commit to it.
right,
You can go to Starbucks on a venti spendy spaghetti drink and spend $20.
right,
The last sip mean it's gone. It's gone. $20.
right.
I mean, and not to those who love Starbucks. That's your treat for yourself.
Right.
But those things add up. That could
Um,
go towards some life insurance.
$20 on a drink.
That can go towards some life insurance.
Yes, yes. Especially if you're single, life insurance for you, depending on your age
And you young? Don't be young.
right,
Oh,
and how much you want. It ain't nothing like $30, $40 a month.
my policy for my daughter versus mine totally different. She's 21, young. Her policy is not much of nothing. Now me,
Listen, I got everybody covered. Everybody covered is like $100 and some dollars.
that's not bad.
You know what I'm saying? And so at the end of the day, like, what are you spend $100 in the mall? You spend $100 in the grocery store.
True.
Now, am I telling you not to eat to have that's not what I said. I'm just telling you that you spend $100 doing stupid stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Then before making something a priority. I know people that go in the nail shop and drop $100 on their family.
Easily.
Okay, so if you could drop it on some nails, you can't drop it on what's gonna help your family. If
and
you
it might need a sacrifice. You may have to do some Amazon press-ons
right
while you build back up. I want to address what Fred was saying. Some of us have a hard time handling our own final expenses. That goes back to what is your priority.
Yeah.
Based on what you bring home, where is your fund? Where are your funds going? Or is it time to look for different kinds of employment where you can increase your hourly wage or your salary? And if you were to write down all of what your expenses are, including room and board, vehicle, food, gas, insurances, and then take that number and then match that with your job that you're looking for.
Right.
That probably is going to be the best route. If you know you need to make at least $1,000, every 2 weeks to have everything covered with a little bit of cushion for you to at least buy some toilet paper.
Right.
Factor all that in there. Then maybe when you go look for employment, you may need to go search for jobs that have this to this.
Right.
This is what I'm looking for. And when
I'm gonna tell you the funny part about what you just said, I had an interview earlier this morning.
Really?
The lady came flat out and said, as an independent contractor, what do you want your amount of pay to be?
Oh my.
She asked me what I wanted.
Oh my.
Okay. First time I've ever had a job. Ask me the amount that I want to be paid. And so at the end of the day, if they give me what I asked for, it'll do more than what I needed to do.
Come on.
Right? So the whole thing about it is, but do you know what you need?
Do you know what you need?
Do you know what you need? And you got to be honest with yourself. The needs, not the desires. What out of what you spending every month, what can be done away with? What can you cut off?
Right.
Okay. What is it that you feel like you can't go without? Because you can do that one thing, but everything else, you need to chop it. You need to cut the string to it. And you will see a big difference in how much money you save.
And if you got a business, then that means you're gonna like with Fred's situation. If you're running a whole business, what are the operating expenses?
Right.
Because that may have to be a part of what you need that job to be able to provide until it comes from another place.
Right.
I think we job hunt backwards.
Mm-hmm.
We probably say, well, whatever's out here, I'll just take it. And it kind of makes sense to a point if you're desperate. But what about if you flip it and said, what do I need? What would it look like for me to be able to pay all my bills, operate my business,
and still
and
be
still
comfortable?
have a little bit of comfort? And
Yeah.
let me pray that I get that job. And let me go out here and seek those positions that literally can meet me where I need to be in terms of my money.
Right.
Because I believe they're out there, especially with your skills, Fred.
Right.
What you've been able to do, working from home,
Yeah.
customer service, they're paying upwards of 20 and 30 bucks.
Yeah. And they are. How I know, I'm one of them.
Right.
They are.
Right. And I'm
So,
about to be one of them too.
listen, and it's very possible to do.
Yeah.
It's very possible to have a work from home gig, because if you do it where you take the 1099 gigs, you can have more than one.
See?
So it's not just that one thing. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, am I going to tell you to stretch yourself thin? No.
Right.
I'm telling you to use wisdom all across the board, though.
And
A lot of people aren't doing that. You know, again, it goes back to, in my situation, what is it that I can lessen to be able to say, okay, well, I need to maneuver this to make room for this over here.
Okay.
Because of what I'm making room for.
Okay.
So I'm about to have an addition. So with an addition, you have to make room for the addition.
Yeah.
The addition means what? More finances.
Yeah.
Right. So in that, when you add on stuff to your life, now you have to be able to prepare for that thing that you add on.
You gotta make
And
room.
so a lot of people don't understand, like, you're not thinking about it clearly.
Right.
You say, oh, okay, well, I'm just gonna maneuver this, I'll do this, that, the third.
Right.
No, you need to sit down and you need to budget. Budgets help your life. Trust me when I tell you that.
Yes.
Don't listen. Stop trying to keep up with the Joneses. Don't live beyond your means.
Don't do it.
Don't live beyond your means. Be comfortable and be good. That's it. Don't why are you trying to keep up with the next door neighbor? You don't know what they doing to get their fund.
Right.
You don't even know if she the one paying her bills. It might be one of her boo things coming through and dropping the change on it. So at the end of the day, don't compare yourself to somebody else, because that's where a lot of us, especially us females, get run into issues. You trying to compare your life to somebody else's and keep up, and it ain't that serious over here. You know what I'm saying? If you want to hurt yourself to make $1, by all means, you go right on. I'm not gonna do that.
No.
I would rather to make sure that life is good for me, that my house is good, my ride is good, my business is good. Yeah. As long as that's good and ministry straight,
right?
There's nothing else.
The sacrifice. I mean, who wouldn't want a weekend getaway somewhere?
Yeah.
But if you're not in a position to do that without harming yourself financially, you may have to put it off.
Right. And you plan for that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Plan for it. If that's something that you want to do end of the year, okay, I want to take a nice little trip. Okay, so what is it going to cost for the trip?
Yeah.
If we decide to take it, instead of us being here where it get cold in the winter, we want to go somewhere warm. Okay, so how much is it going to cost for us to go somewhere warm for 7 days?
Right. Right.
And still be okay when we come back.
Right. That's the key, to be okay. I'm not going to be able to enjoy anything splurging, tapping into rent money, tapping into other funds that are allocated for other stuff when I come back to the same or worse condition.
Right.
I'm not saying I've never done it, but it didn't feel good.
No. And I know people that do it all the time. I know people that's about to take trips right now. But you saying that when you get back, you got to work overtime just so you can recoup what you used to go take the trip. So why are you taking the trip?
Or you owe people.
Like,
you owe people, but yet you're on Facebook I'm in this country, I'm in that country, I'm over here, I'm over there. But it's people watching you saying, but you owe me $200. And you said that it was for, this and that. So you just manipulated me to get money to be able to do that. And I'm coming from a place of, I saw that in my household.
Yeah.
Like, it was more important to be able to say I've been on a cruise, to be able to say I have a Cadillac, to be able to say I live in the suburbs, than it was to be able to pay for those things. It was just a matter of, I want to look like I am thriving. But the crazy part is when the funk hit the fan, and the that big giant crate come pulling up to your house, and the bailiffs are knocking, those same people who you were trying to impress, now see you getting put out.
Right.
You end up being embarrassed and humiliated anyway.
Right.
And I have a problem with my funds, and I don't have a lot, and I have creditors. I call them and tell them, this is what I'm working with. I'm not avoiding no phone calls. I'm not disguising my voice. She ain't here. She ain't.
Yeah.
I'm not doing none of that. I am open and honest about what I have and what I don't have. And I found that most companies will work with you. Mm-hmm. They want at least something.
Right.
They will settle the account with you to get you out of their hair, because they don't want to be dealing with you, because they got to pay somebody to call you every day.
Right.
So if it means settling for a third of the cost, and you got a third, give me the third, child. Give me the third.
Yeah. Give me the third. I'll write you off as paid in full.
And then you good. Sayonara. Bye.
Right.
But we do it, Fred. We do this all the time. It's become a way of life.
Yeah, and not only that, the good thing about some of these particular creditors, they have what's called a deferment.
Yes.
Is if you are having issues,
mm-hmm.
you sign the contract with them that states they will cover you if you run into hard times. Yep. Why? Because covering you when you run into hard times also covers them.
Right. Even credit card assistance program.
Right. So they will defer a payment or two.
Yes.
To bring your account current.
Yes.
And then you got 2 months or so to start remaking payments.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta know how to work with the people that's trying to work with you.
Right. But let me address this, Fred. I get what you're saying about people who like to floss, but there's also a population of people who will act like they can handle stuff, and they really can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's probably just as bad as the flossers.
Yeah.
Because you're not being honest. You over here drowning, going crazy, not sleeping, barely eating, because you want to, I can handle this team. I can handle that team. No. If you can't handle something, it's best to say something right away.
Yeah.
Because guess what? If we wake up in the morning and call you and can't get to you because your phone off, then we gonna know you couldn't handle something.
Right.
So a lot of this comes down to just plain being honest. Be honest. If you got a friend or a family member, like I have a cousin who's a chief accountant. She graduated magna cum laude from college from accounting. She know how to budget. She can take 99 cents and stretch that thing to the rapture. Get somebody in your corner who knows money. Stop being embarrassed. If you can't handle something, you better come clean, because you're going to end up looking crazy when something get cut off. Well, we thought you handled it.
Right.
You said you had it. Stop that. Anybody who need to hear that, stop doing that. I've done that before.
Right.
Up here losing weight because you ain't eating, ain't sleeping, headaches, high blood, low blood, no blood at all, because you want it to appear. Like and it could be something small. Well, I can handle that. Can you?
That part.
Can you?
Listen, ladies, I'm one of them. I know how some ladies are. Y'all got to have y'all shoes. Y'all got to have y'all handbags and all that extra. Listen, I got Louis Vuitton. I got Gucci too, but guess what? They were gifts. I didn't go buy them. Okay.
Listen, I can walk man through my job, had a point system. You do good stuff and give you points.
Yeah.
Most of my designer bags.
Right.
My Dooney and Burks all came through the points.
Listen,
I I ever bought an actual designer purse for myself.
Listen, all my Steve Madden's came from DSW.
See,
I didn't buy them full price.
see,
I'm telling you, stuff like that. Now, one thing I don't necessarily everybody say I step out properly when I want to step out. I do, but guess what? My clothes don't cost me an arm and a leg. I look at things now and ask myself, can I actually afford what I want to buy? Can I afford to pay mistake? Right.
You have to.
Right.
You
And
have
you have to be able
look
to
at
do that.
that.
Just like I went and I started house hunting, right?
All right, come on
great.
now.
It's great to start house hunting, but when they start telling you the amount of the mortgage payment,
Oh, and then the insurance and the Esquire
yeah.
and the all of that.
When they start telling you the amount of the mortgage payment, honey, and you know that you the one that got to pay that.
Yeah.
It's a big difference between the cost of rent and a mortgage. You understand? With a mortgage, everything is a bill.
Yes.
In a rent, some of these places, all of your stuff is included in your rent.
Yes.
So it's a big difference.
Right.
You know, why would I go from paying a G to paying $3,000 if I know I'm not ready to pay that $3,000?
And that's being smart. That's called using wisdom.
Right.
You got to build to that. You got to be able to know that your living expenses is only supposed to be, what is it, 1/3?
Yeah.
Of what you pay a month.
That's
so when I go to look at, when I was looking at rental properties, they say if the rent is $1,100, we want you to be making $3,500 a month.
Yeah, because they want you to be able to.
Because you got to be able to afford it.
3 times the amount.
You got to be able to afford it. They don't want you getting in this house and basically got to be put right back out.
Right.
So they're asking you to have enough money where your bills are covered, and some landlords go as far as to say, break down your expenses.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to be the one last paid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because some people are professional house hoppers.
Mm-hmm.
Because they haven't been able to. They won't pay the rent, knowing they can't. They'll get all the right paperwork, end up in the house, can't afford the house, and got to keep moving. Right now, since COVID, landlords went through so much.
They ain't playing.
So much.
They ain't playing. And a lot of them have lost they sense of compassion now.
Because it was too much. COVID has, and we couldn't help COVID.
Yeah.
And I praise God because we never missed a payment until the very end when I got sick, when it came to our rental home. And during COVID, COVID was not bad to us. He worked through COVID. So our landlord was just grateful to have a paying tenant, even in the midst of COVID. But when I got sick and we weren't able to, his compassion was like, y'all did so good through COVID and beyond. I'm going to work with you.
Listen.
Because when COVID hit and my other people wasn't paying nothing, y'all was paying twice. Trying to keep a good rapport. It pays to have a good track record.
Yeah, it really does. But it pays to build that relationship.
Yes. That relationship is so key. Some landlords do have compassion and we'll look at your overall situation. I've seen God do it. I've gone into rental properties with my own credit report. Here it go, it's bad, but I make a good amount of money. I'm gonna commit. You know what, Miss Harris? I feel like you're gonna be a stand-up person. Just come on.
Yeah.
Just come on.
Yeah.
Yes, Fred. COVID. And as a person that was renting, I felt myself getting angry at the landlords for the expectations of the high credit score, $6,000 to move in. But because COVID wreaked such havoc on their livelihood, they're trying to say, we can't chance another tenant coming in here.
And won't.
We got a whole mortgage on this rental property that has to be paid. Because some people are still paying on the homes that they're renting. They're still paying on them.
Yeah.
When you don't pay your rent, they can't pay the mortgage.
Right.
So looking at it, and I learned more about that dealing with Dana by her being a property owner. She had to school me. The reason why we do what we do is to protect us.
Yeah.
I'm looking on it on the side of a renter like, well, dang, that's messed up. But when COVID came through here,
Yeah.
landlords lost a
A
lot
lot.
of money.
A lot.
Folks was living in their homes for free, tearing them up,
Mm-hmm.
and they couldn't touch them.
Yep.
So when that pandemic thing came up off of there,
Yep.
they came back like landlord Power Rangers, Voltron, activate,
And then
GoBots, GI
I
Joes.
I have been where I am since the building was built. So
Wow.
I was the very first tenant where I am.
Wow.
My unit was their office,
Wow.
right? So I have been the very first tenant. I'm the longest tenant they got. I watched so many people come and go that it's not funny.
Wow.
But at the end of the day, though, I've also seen this same place I'm in have
Mhm.
4 different property managers since I've been in it.
See, see,
And so it's a lot. And every time a new manager comes on, we get some changes.
see.
So it's a thing where you don't know what kind of change is coming.
Right,
Are you financially prepared for the change?
right.
So that's the thing that I'm trying to state. I want you guys to be financially prepared. When you hear people talk about having an emergency stash put away,
Hmm.
I tell you that your emergency stash should not be under $500.
Yeah,
Okay, it shouldn't be under $500.
yeah,
Okay, your savings should have 3 to 6 months of what you make of what your rent or mortgage may be. That should be in your savings. That
yeah.
amount, okay? Because if you can't do nothing else, you can pay your rent or mortgage.
At least you'll be in your house.
You'll be in your place.
You may not be able to do no scrimps right now, but you can get you some ramen noodles and you
Right.
in the house out of the elements.
So it's the stuff that you have to start considering to be important. Yeah, they keep saying that we got something coming down the pipe. I'm not telling you not to have a little cash tucked away, but I'm telling you to do it in the right, proper manner. If
Yeah,
you don't have these things and something was to pop off, you sitting there looking crazy. How you gonna get it?
right,
You may not be able to ask your person that you normally go to
right,
because they may not have it either.
right.
So you have to protect yourself. You got to do what's right by yourself. Again, I told you guys in the very first beginning of this thing that if you are an entrepreneur, a business owner, your business account and personal stuff should not be the same account. It should be two separated accounts. As I told you, for me, my business stuff ain't even at the same bank as my personal stuff.
Mhm.
And I do that deliberately. But that's me. So I'm telling you to make sure that you are handling your finances the proper way.
Yeah,
Also, when it comes down to y'all taxes, that's part of y'all finances, y'all.
yes, it is.
You understand? That's part of your finances too. Just like LSG was saying earlier, I'm gonna tell y'all, I have watched people. I am a tax preparer. So when people come to me and you bugging me about your taxes because you already spending the money before you got the check,
Well, you even got it. Lord have mercy, Jesus.
before you got the check, I know for a fact what you got back. There ain't nowhere in the world if you got back $10,000 3 weeks after getting it, you should be broke.
Oh,
Okay, there ain't no way.
ain't
What did you do and what did you just go spending on?
help us, Savior. Help us,
Don't come to
Savior.
me because don't come to me because I can't help you. I helped you get it because I did your taxes. Everything
Right.
else is on you after you got it.
That's on you. That's on you, boom.
So I watch people all the time make these crazy choices, and then you sit back. Well, what can I do? What can I do? Oh, if I go take out this loan, don't you go take out no loan.
Oh my Lord.
You just got 10 grand back. You ain't even gonna pay the loan. Don't you go touch it. Leave it. So it's just a lot. I watch it all the time. Every tax season, it's the same thing.
And let me say this, y'all be careful with these affirms, afterpays, progressives. It's nice to be able to get things and pay by the month.
Yeah,
That adds up.
yeah.
And this is my opinion, it's a payday loan in disguise.
Well,
Be careful.
I got Afterpay. I actually happen to love it. But the thing about Afterpay is, I will tell you this: If you use it the right way,
The
Afterpay,
right way.
it can help you a lot.
The
Why?
right way.
Because Afterpay will pay the whole bill for you, and
Mhm.
then you have to pay 4 payments to pay that bill back.
What's the interest rate?
There isn't one.
That's a good thing to do.
So there isn't one. There's also a thing that's similar to Afterpay
Mhm.
that's for your rent. It's called Flex.
Afterpay and Flex.
So for people that are having issues being able to cover your whole amount of rent,
Mhm.
if you download the Flex app, you put in the amount of rent that you owe, it'll pay it for you all up front, and
Mhm.
it breaks it down into 3 payments for you to be able to pay it back. But it will pay your rent for you every month up front, and you can pay your rent in 3.
So how do they get paid? What there's no interest on that either?
There's no interest on that either.
Okay. As long as
And
there
that,
ain't no interest.
no, and that one's called Flex,
Okay.
and
I'm
that
glad
one's for
you
your
said
rent.
that. Okay.
Okay? So there's a lot of different things that if you know how to wiggle it around,
Right.
you can use these things to help yourself.
Right. With
Okay.
wisdom.
Yeah, with wisdom. Am I telling you to go and get Afterpay knowing that they're gonna pay it first and not pay Afterpay? Because they gonna hit that account, baby.
That's
I'm
the
gonna tell
key.
you
You
that.
got to be prepared for the
They're
payment.
gonna, they're gonna hit your account, but they're gonna give you the pay dates. Okay. And on that day, they're gonna take it out.
Be
All
prepared
right.
for the
So you
payment.
have to be prepared for the payments. And
That's
the
the
payments
key.
is broke is for equal payments to whatever the amount was that they just paid in front for you.
And that goes back to that word budget.
Yeah,
If
it's
you
a
have
budget.
to do that, like what you just described to me, could be very helpful, especially
Yeah,
if you're in a bind. But you have to, if you know when that payment is due,
that
your
you're not gonna
calendar
have it.
on your kitchen refrigerator, wherever you got to do,
Yep.
you whatever check is closest to that
Yep.
without going beyond,
Yep.
you know that that's the check where I have to make my payment to Flex, my payment to Afterpay. Don't get caught up. Oh, the Lord and gave me a free ride. No,
No,
you have to
that's not a
prove
free
it to
ride.
me. And that's how people get caught up. You still have to pay it. You're
Yeah.
just getting the gift of more time. And if
Yes.
it's interest free, don't mess that up because they'll
Yes.
stop doing it.
Yes.
Don't mess
Because
that up.
if you mess it up and you fall behind,
Don't mess.
they will stop paying it.
Don't mess
Okay?
that up.
So that's the thing about Flex. If you mess it up and you fall behind and you have not contacted them, Flex will stop paying your rent.
And I don't blame them.
Okay.
They should take
So
the house. Dang gummit.
right. And so I happen to be a really good fan of Flex. I share my link for Flex with other people so they can get it. But I'm telling you, if you happen to be one of them people, but you still have to be good with money, still.
You still gotta have
It's not one of those that, oh, you can just use it and no. You still
and
have to
people
be
do
good with
that.
money.
They go ripping through these different flexes and afterpays and the
Yeah.
firms, just ripping and ripping and ripping and keep buying stuff. And if you're gonna use it
Yeah.
for something that you rent is an important thing.
Yes.
Because you're
That's
gonna
a necessity. If you don't pay your rent, you ain't got nowhere to stay.
right. And if you gotta do it to avoid having a late fee with your landlord, I would do that because one thing about that, you don't want to start having a NSF with your bank
Yep.
or a late fee with your landlord because now you look as though you're not responsible.
Yep.
And when it comes to them renewing your lease, they
Yep.
may not want to because you've had too many lates. The couple times I was late with my last landlord, he sent my late fee back. Like, no,
Yeah.
thank you, but no, because you good with me.
Right.
And he didn't have to do that. But
Right.
I wasn't in a habit of doing that. I wanted to pay.
Right.
And when I had more to pay toward the next month, I did that too because I didn't know what was coming down the pipeline. And it's a
Right.
good thing I did because when we needed him, he
Yeah.
gave us time to do what we
To
had
do what
to
you
do.
need to do. Right.
You
And
got
that's the
it's
thing.
a relationship. They're watching your patterns.
Right.
If you are constantly late to anything, paying anything, what does that say to the person? You're
Right.
not trustworthy. You're not responsible. I can't trust you.
Right. Right.
Don't do that.
Right.
Whatever you have to do, there are certain things that you should not shortcut with.
Right. And I say this to say that you could use the flex and the afterpay thing that we're talking about. If you need clothes for your children, you can do that too.
Wow.
Trust me, your kids' clothes are expensive. All you got to do is shop for them through Afterpay and break it down into payments. Your baby can still have all the clothes they need,
See?
and you done broke it down into payments. But you still have to be mindful of how you use it.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, granted, I have done so much Afterpaying. I have a really good credit line with them.
Because
Okay.
you've been keeping up with
Yeah.
it.
And so, my credit line is sit there and I can use it whenever I feel like I need to. But at the end of the day, the biggest thing is I make my payments,
Yeah.
right? And so even with my business stuff now, I have gotten to the point of where when I give people an invoice, I could invoice them and give them the option to use Afterpay to pay me.
Wow.
So at the end of the day, I make it easy for everybody. Yeah, because I know
That's a blessing.
everybody ain't got it like that.
That's a
Right.
blessing.
And so you just have to know how you working with what you got. Everybody doing a whole buy, do it now and pay later. Everybody, even PayPal got to buy now, do it now and pay
Just
later.
read the fine print and
Right.
see what it's about. If it's no interest, that's a great thing.
Yeah, with pay
You're
now,
paying, 20 and 30% interest rates.
don't do it.
Careful. You're
Don't
gonna
do it.
have to read.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to, as a people, start reading more and being careful of how we handle different financial transactions. And I know when tax time comes, everyone wants to do something for themselves. I understand,
Yeah.
but within reason. What
Yeah.
if you did something on a smaller scale until you can afford something bigger? If you
Right.
got a family of 4 and you want to do something and get a inexpensive Airbnb
Yeah.
that's not
And just chill out.
cool and just chill out somewhere. If I mean, you're gonna have to be creative. You're
Right.
gonna have to learn how to be creative in even your recreation. Coupons.
Yeah.
Stop
They
being
work.
too good for coupons.
They work.
You
They
better
work.
use that. I can't wait till Sinette get well. Y'all pray for my girl. Sinette, she ain't been feeling good. My coupon queen. When people give you coupons at the pharmacy or on the back of your grocery bill, pay
Yeah.
attention. Stop throwing everything away because I don't use that. Well, maybe you should.
Right. You better.
Maybe you should try it
You better
because
couponing at the grocery store.
man,
Honey,
we every penny we can get.
listen, couponing at the grocery store, if you use the coupons the way they meant to be used, you could walk out of there and not pay nothing for your grocery bill.
See, I've seen those TV shows. Somebody go in there, they have all of this stuff. They come out and the store owe them money.
Yes.
Come on here.
Yes.
I be
I watched the lady because I watched the lady. I actually used to be in her little couponing group.
mm,
Um, we went to the store one day. She had over $8,000 worth of stuff. Baby, she paid $5 for 5,000
come
worth.
on.
Do you understand?
What
$5
girl?
for what rung up on the screen as $1,000 worth of stuff. After that woman hit that button and put all them coupons in, $5.
So and it took discipline, I'm sure, to take the time to gather it, to
Yep.
see what products were on sale. Some coupons are double,
Yep.
triple.
Yep. And she had a whole big what you call it, trapper keeper. That's what she used
A
it for.
trapper keeper.
Yeah.
Yes.
She had a whole big trapper keeper, honey. She great.
Yes.
Every month she in that store with that trapper keeper.
And people were doing during COVID stockpiling their
Yeah.
extras and making bundles and
And
making
making
money.
money for other people.
So
Yeah.
are y'all out here laughing at people who buy in bulk and who had TP when you didn't have no TP and your
Right.
hand was itching?
Right.
Their cabooses was nice and smooth.
Right.
Well, y'all be laughing and making fun of people. Why you need 25 shampoos when ain't no more shampoo in your hair dirty? You gonna come to me trying to buy some?
Listen, I know a lady right now. If you go to her house and she opened up her garage, it looked like Sam's.
See, come on.
And if you need something off her shelf, she'll give it to you.
We
She
have
has no
to
problem
be
with doing that.
creative.
Right.
Our
You have to be able to do that.
You have to.
So that's the biggest thing. We're gonna definitely do this again. But I just really wanted to break it down and talk about finances with y'all. I think a lot of people don't understand your finances is important. Again, money is a tool. Okay, if y'all heard the phrase "money talk," it do.
It do.
It do.
Loud and clear.
It do. I've had people come in, you might have a really good credit score, but you ain't got the money to walk out the store with what you wanted. There's a person that came in, their credit was bad, but they had them ducats though.
See,
You see what I'm saying? And so at the end of the day, it's the difference between the two. And we in a society now where you can talk a good game, but when it comes time to do what you need to do, can you do it?
that's right. You're right. You're
So,
right.
again, this is about ask yourself in your own private time and don't lie to yourself.
Right.
What is your relationship with money?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you treat your money like it's your boo thing?
All right now.
What is your relationship with money? Period. And only you know the answer to that,
That's true.
right? And
Amen.
if you need help making your finances better, you don't know how to budget, reach out. I help you budget.
Reach out.
There are different ways to save. Yeah, we got the one where you put away so much money every month, but I do the whole envelope method.
It
Right?
works.
You take the envelopes, write from 1 to 100 on the envelope. Choose a different envelope every month. What envelope you choose, that's the amount you put in it.
All right.
And then you don't touch that envelope. You seal it, don't touch it. At the end of the year, okay, if you do the envelope method every month, you'll be surprised how much money you save.
My Lord.
So I'm just telling you, this is stuff that the older folks taught me
Yes.
a long time ago. I wish some older folks would have taught me about credit. I had to teach
Me
myself
too.
about credit.
And I'm still
Right?
learning. I'm still learning that.
I had to teach myself about credit,
I'm still
and
learning that, girl.
now I know some things that I didn't know back
Me
then.
too. Me
But
too.
I wish that if you guys got little ones coming up,
Start now. I'm
start
teaching
teaching your
me
babies early about
my
money and credit.
children. Yes. Talk about it.
Um,
Talk
so
about
that
it.
they would realize the true value of a dollar and their credit.
Yes.
That as
Yes.
long as they credit is good, they'll never be broke.
Yes.
Okay, so teach your children early,
Yes.
right? And those of us that are business partners, whatever you want to call it, if you have a person that's a partner with you, but they don't really understand finances like that, y'all need to have meetings and have meetings about finances. It may
Absolutely.
not be something that you want to talk about because everybody don't like talking about money. But baby, when we in business together, we ain't got no choice but to have this conversation.
You better know it.
Okay.
You better know
So
it.
I'm just saying, I absolutely love y'all to life, and I just want y'all to know what's what. So we gonna come back again, and when we come back again, it'll be talking about business finances, how your business finances should be. I'm gonna give you some tools so that you can build up your business credit, and things of that nature. Also, with when I go back with LSG on her show to
All
talk about
right.
work from home stuff, I'm gonna
Yes.
give y'all a personal credit hack that I want y'all to write down and
All
use.
right.
All
Let's
right,
do it.
so to help y'all get that type of stuff done. But I appreciate you, LSG, for coming up here with
Pleasure.
and hanging out. If y'all notice, y'all always know your girl be over there taking notes. She always got a pen in the pad. She always got a pen in
Always.
the pad.
Always,
It's
brother.
me. I do the same thing. I'm right here too. So, I mean, I can't even knock it. It's what you do.
I'm calling Aflac when I get up off here to get my paperwork.
Listen, what you talking about? I'm trying to tell you.
Listen.
A lot of people don't understand. I tell people that Aflac is really good. Ever since they came out, they've been good. But a lot of people just don't want to keep paying the
Right.
bill. It helps you,
Right.
especially like I said, people such as myself. I just happen to have to be at hospitals quite often, more often than what I like. But for my case, it helps me out. You know what I mean? If you know that that's not what you do and it's not something that you need, you don't have to get that part. But Aflac is like a health insurance
Yeah.
subsidiary. That's what I call it. It's not health insurance. So that's not what I'm telling you. It's a subsidiary.
Mhm.
It just helps you cover certain things and you can attach it. It's like an extra, right?
Yes.
And so that's what you do. But if y'all don't know things, you just don't know. So now I'm telling you, contact Aflac and have a little conversation, right? And so
Absolutely.
you can help yourself out. Other than that, again, if you guys have any business questions that you want to ask, please feel free to DM me. Let me know what questions you have, and we'll go from there. But I appreciate y'all for hanging out with us. Y'all enjoy the rest of your night and have a good one.